but they will get their karma too. Don't you worry. But it's just not fair that people have to go through such pain and misery, even if these monsters will get their karma, because sometimes it takes years. I mean, look at how Diddy was allowed to get away with this for 30 odd years. And yes, finally something seems to be happening. Hopefully they can keep him in jail, and hopefully he'll never see the breathe free air again, hopefully. But people say that maybe him having all those tapes of people at his freak off parties, they might be high up important people, celebrities and politicians and people with more power than him. So he might end up like Epstein, suddenly apparently unaliving himself, but really someone has been given a bribe to let someone go in and kill him. Maybe, because it's like if he has been blackmailing people, or if people have been at his parties and drugged and didn't realize stuff had been done to them until they woke up, but then it's on tape, and then he probably says, oh, don't you dare go to the authorities or the police or the FBI saying I argue, even though, yeah, I admit it, I argue, so what? But I have a tape of me R-ing you, and because you're a man, you probably don't want people to see that. It will embarrass your brand as a family actor, or just embarrass you in general, because a lot of people are they don't want nothing to come out about them when they're an actor or an actress. I mean, they'd be so embarrassed to even have, like some people, they will kill people to hide their secrets. I mean, clearly Diddy likes men. He's been with women, but you can call him bisexual, but that doesn't mean every bisexual person or every gay or lesbian person is a predator. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm talking that he is a predator who happens to prey on men, women, and children, black, white, whoever. He don't care who he abuses. He just needs a victim every day, it seems. And he knows that people will not agree to his sick demands, so he drugs them so that they can't fight back and they can't get away. That is frightening, so frightening, that this monster has been helped and by women and men, to keep abusing people. That is so frightening. And all for money. People were just like, oh yeah, I don't have any bad Diddy stories, he's great, he's like my brother. Well, would you let your children stay over at his house? Oh, hell no, no way. Oh really, Usher? So what happened when you were there as a kid? Oh, I saw the lifestyle, but I can't tell you what I saw. So would you let your kids go over there? Oh no, hell no. You see, this is what they're saying in these interviews. So doesn't that give you a clear idea that something's wrong if he don't feel safe bringing his kids over there, even in the daytime? So not that kids should be at any Hollywood parties, but I'm just saying it's obvious from what Gene Dealer's been saying that this has been going on for well over 20 to 30 years. And it's very sad. It's very sad. They say that, what was it, like Clive Davis, who he was very powerful, and it was him and other people, other higher ups and powerful men, that this is how they operated, just like Weinstein, preying on everyone. And so he learnt from them how to be a sick abuser, but you have to be okay with that behavior. He already has a mindset that, oh, you've shown me how to be a bigger monster than I'm already okay with being. Puffy already was a monster, because if you show a normal person something vile and disgusting, they'll be disgusted and recoil and not want to be part of it, But if you show someone who already wants to cross the line, already doesn't care what they do, they're willing to do anything to get money and fame, and even though they might feel humiliated and embarrassed when they're used and abused by these higher ups, because Diddy, I assume, was used and abused in order to get his money from these higher up rich men like Clive Davis and other people. But then instead of him taking that money, getting away from them, forgetting all that, putting that behind him, because obviously you can't forget horrible things like that happened to you. But then he became an even bigger monster, just like them. It's so scary. Like, and I wonder what his children, like, has he abused his own children? I know, you can't know for sure, but the guy has no boundaries. If he's drugging everyone, how do you know he don't drug them? You don't know. That's how scary it is. Half of them kids don't even look like his kids. I think one of them is Kim Porter's son, which is not his son, and another one he had with another woman don't even look like him. And so I think he's only got 3 kids that are definitely his, but God knows what they've seen or witnessed, or one of the sons I think is even accused of drugging and assaulting a woman on a yacht. So there are all these things going around, in new lawsuits and things like that. And it's just so sad. Like, I couldn't believe I looked on my phone and every single news feed or something was something about Diddy. I was like, is there anything else going on today? But it's such a big shock that finally he's been arrested, even though everyone does feel like I already knew all this stuff. He was getting away with this for years, but no one was doing anything about it. And so it's almost like a shock, like finally someone's doing something about it. Just like when Weinstein went down, they couldn't believe it. Like, really? Are you really going to take him down this time? Because many people tried before and were just paid off and had to stay quiet and had to sign NDAs and not bring it up again, and the abuses he'd done to them. But that is just, really frightening to think that someone could really use their wealth and power for evil like that. Like, imagine if someone used their power for good. How many homeless people could you have built houses for? How many communities could you have saved from poverty and destruction? How many times could you have genuinely helped your own people, your own black community? And yet, look at what he did with his money. Bought a load of baby oil and a load of drugs and decided to have ridiculous parties where he abused people. That's what he did daily for 20, 30 years? So in that 30 years, how many people did you help? How many homeless people did you buy a sandwich for? How many people did you do anything good for? You're a monster. Ugh. It just sickens me. It hurts I feel hurt to my soul to know that scum like that has been helped and supported for all these years, and good people like me and other good souls, we get no help, no support. When we talk out against injustice, all the disgusting people join together, close ranks and push you out, even though you're trying to prevent people being abused. Many times when I've seen any type of abuse or discrimination or misconduct, I'm the first to call it out immediately. Like, just and then you'll be shocked to see how these corrupt officials or people who are meant to be in charge of stamping out that kind of behavior, they overlook it. They tell you to they lie and say, yeah, I'll deal with it, and they haven't done fuck all about it. And then you ask them, why is this still continuing? What have you said or done? What do you mean? What are you part of you're in on it too? What's going on? Oh, it's so frightening. And then they just make up lies to get you fired or get you out because you're too decent, you're too dignified, you have too much integrity. You won't allow them to do this sick shit in front of you. It's just so horrible. But yes, karma has no deadline and they will get torn to pieces. And the sad thing is, the karma can hit their family too, because if their family knew they were a monster this whole time, but their family stood back and just, for whatever reason, if it was just that messed up loyalty, blind loyalty because you're related, sadly some people will show blind loyalty even to a murderer in their family who's a monster, even to a paedophile, even to, there's so many families who the dad is a paedophile, he's raped the kids, and the mother still defends him and stays with him even after all the proof has come out, and they just make the kids sit at the dinner table with this monster every day. It's so sick. Like, so obviously anyone who is gonna, even if you weren't participating, the fact that you knew it was going on and you stood there and did nothing, you are just as disgusting and monstrous as the person, because the fact that, too many atrocities happen when good people say nothing. And in my opinion, you're not a good person if you say nothing, because it would not be possible for a good person not to say something, not to blow the whistle, not to gather some evidence. Because if you're going to be there anyway and you have to be stuck around them, at least you better be gathering some evidence, bitch. Because I don't understand how you're going to be at this freak off every night and you're not gathering evidence so that you've got enough evidence to go to the FBI. I mean, this is so disgusting and frightening. Like, oh, it's just weird. Like, I didn't even really want to talk about that, but it's just been on every single channel, every, YouTube vid. It's just, it's like I can't not say nothing about it because I'm just so disgusted, and when you see certain people in Hollywood or the music industry, even in England, like, because I'm here in England, right? There are people here who were disgusting, evil paedophiles, raping disabled children, raping any child they came in contact with, even if it was for 5 minutes. They crossed paths with a child and they just dragged them in a car and hurt them. This man called Jimmy Savile, he was on TV as a children's presenter in like the 70s, I think, or like the maybe early 80s. I think. I can't remember. It's a bit before my time when he was on TV. He was very old when I was like young. And but then many people at the British Broadcasting Centre, which is BBC, they knew about his disgusting reputation, that people had come out and said he sexually abused them, he raped them, blah blah blah, he touched them, whatever, and everyone covered it up. It was just an open secret. Like, they didn't even cover it up well, they just ignored the victims, and the police were ignoring the victims too, and I just couldn't understand why. And it was just so bizarre. Like, he even got an OBE, which is like a medal from the Queen or something. Like, people couldn't believe it. And then when he died, people were vandalizing his gravesite, like his other relatives who, I can't say his other relatives are like him, because if I was related to someone like that, I would not want anyone to put me in the same boat as that monster, because I can't help who I'm related to. But the family who are related to him just took the headstone away. They didn't even want anyone to know where he was buried because they're ashamed of him too. But they couldn't stop him, extended family or whatever. But it was just so frightening, like how when it came out afterwards, the depth of corruption and cooperation, people cooperating to allow this monster to touch anybody anytime he wanted, abuse them and get away with it. And he knew, he knew he was free to do this because he saw how weak everyone was around him, and he didn't even have to pay them off. That's the creepiest thing. Like, I was thinking, wow, he must have paid off everyone. Half the time they were just so corrupt. The police, the other people who worked there, clearly they were people who were okay with this abuse, because if you don't even need to be paid for your silence, why are you okay with this abuse? What do you have to gain from it, unless you're sick and you are the type of person who would do these type of things? That's why you're okay with it, clearly. I mean, what other reason could there be? You're not keeping quiet for money, so what's the other reason? Clearly you identify with this monster. And even in interviews, he was talking, this Jimmy Savile guy, and people asked him questions like, oh, what's it like being, famous, blah blah blah, or something, some dumb question like that. And he goes, oh, I don't live in a world like you. In my world, I get anything I want, anything. And then obviously at the time, people didn't realize he's probably thinking in his head of the sick things he can get and not have any consequences. But like years later, when he's dead and everything's fully come out, because now he's dead, people are trying to, you know, reignite the stories against him, like, you know, because they've been silenced for years and stuff. And people are so disgusting when they like victim shame, like, well, why didn't you tell us at the time, or why didn't you go to the police at the time? And the poor victim said, I did talk to the police, I did talk to the BBC, I told everyone who would listen, and no one wanted to listen, no one cared. Everyone would rather turn the blind eye or go let him continue. And so these kind of things are so disgusting. It's really, really hard to understand why these monsters are helped so much. You know, it's very scary. But like I say, karma has no deadline, and there will be justice and vengeance against those monsters, you know, once they're dead, and they will have, you know, they will be punished. But it's just revolting. I hate this world. It's just, I can't believe it. You know, I mean, I'm in shock every day at the amount of evil and corruption that is in this world. But anyway, I'm going to go now. Please like, share, subscribe. And I wish everyone peace and protection. Keep safe. And always stand up for what is right. You know, wrong is wrong even if everyone is doing it. And right is right even if no one's doing it. Never be afraid to stand alone and do the right thing, because your dignity and your integrity is priceless. And don't let anyone... If you're a decent, good soul, don't let anyone frighten you into following their bad example, their evil ways, because they will suffer the consequences. When we all die and go back to the spirit world, they will have severe consequences for the awful things they've done here down on earth. Just like how all the good we've done we will feel the result of that, the positive, good result of that. But all the terrible things people have done down here, they will be forced to feel that pain and that trauma 1,000,000 times more magnified than what they created down here. So, yes, that's all for now. God bless everyone. Bye for now.